This is the Huddle with Bill Michaels.
Yes, it is. The Green Bay Packers on a Wednesday, getting ready for a Saturday night jaunt in the Windy City. Saturday is going to be the 18th prime time meeting between the Packers, the second, and the Bears. Second most over really since 2006. And it's going to be the 18th time in the last 20 seasons. So behind only the Cowboys and the Eagles, by the way. And Green Bay faces the Bears for the second time in 3 weeks. It's the first time since 1998 that the Packers and Bears are going to meet twice in the regular season within a 3-week span. So there you have it. We all know what happened last time. Overall, the Packers have won 12 of their last 13 games against the Bears. The 11-game win streak that was broken in Week 18 last season was the longest winning streak by either team in the history of the rivalry. So hopefully the Packers now stand at 1, can get number 2 coming up on Saturday night. And it marks the second of 3 road games in 4 weeks to finish the regular season for the Green Bay Packers. The only home game they have left on the docket is going to be the Baltimore Ravens, and that is coming up. That is now a 7 o'clock game, Saturday night, December 27th. That is a Peacock game, unless, of course, you're in the watch area. But this game coming up on Saturday night, the 7:20 kickoff, that is a Fox game. And then the last game of the season, we're waiting to find out. That's going to be a TBD. We don't know if it's going to be Saturday or Sunday, and we don't know what time. So there you go. But among the players with 50-plus passing attempts versus the Bears, Jordan Love's passer rating of 121 even ranks number 2 in the NFL all-time, only behind Carson Palmer, when you talk about the rivalry between the Bears and the Green Bay Packers, so to speak, or their opponents that have played them numerous times. So welcome into the Huddle. Some facts to throw at you, kind of get you started in that sense, maybe feel a little bit better. I don't know. But by the way, welcome into everybody. We certainly appreciate you being here. And if you would like to join the program in some way, shape, or form, if we have an availability, 877-867-1670. Otherwise, text us 608-321-1670. A weird piece of news I want to get to coming up here momentarily, but also you can try us. I want to let you know that you can find us in many different facets. Go to youtube.com. That is youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. You can find us there. Also, and subscribe for free. Find us on Twitter at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels. Find Grant at Wisco Grant. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, The Bill Michaels Show. Also on the Twitch app, the Kick app, the LinkedIn app as well. Our app, which is Wisco Sports Zone, Wisco Sports Zone. Find us there. And you can email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com, the website, thebillmichaels.com. We are a TV show as well, My 24 TV in Milwaukee, My 24 TV in Milwaukee, 8 o'clock Central Time on Saturday night. Graham Bills, how the hell are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Jeff Hafley was box office this afternoon, so that gave us some good content on the evening show, and I'm sure we'll hear about that from Mike Clemens. Christian Watson practicing, that's good. Gave us something to talk about, and yeah, some very good and expected, some very good audio from the Packers locker room this week. Jacobs, right, and Hafley and LaFleur. It's been an engaging week to follow. It's given us some good storylines.
So I don't know. I didn't catch the end of your show or whatever. I don't know if you got it, but did you see what a dumb time to announce that you could possibly take the Chicago Bears to Indiana? Did you see that?
It was what I talked about because I had Jesse at 5:30. So I did the last 4 minutes of the show just looking over that announcement. And I get that you have to look everywhere. I don't think moving to Indiana is great, but I understand how it works. I don't know why you'd announce that now.
I have no idea.
I saw Kevin Fishbane tweet about this. He's like, why are we announcing this with 3 days to go? He tweeted, from the same team that decided to hold a press conference for a new stadium in Chicago, parentheses, that won't be willed. The day before drafting Caleb Williams comes an open letter about looking to Indiana for a new stadium 3 days before the Bears' biggest game in years.
So what happened to Arlington? They just bought the land and said it was what? What are they going to build there?
It's no longer. I don't know. This is what I don't get. This is another thing I said at the end of my show. Wasn't Kevin Warren hired exactly to fix this problem and to get a stadium built?
Yes.
And how many years has he just been stumbling around trying to figure out something?
What this is to me, just my sense, this is what I think, is they did not get the tax deal they wanted. So they are saying, Illinois, you're too expensive. So we're going to go to Indiana. We'll take it right across the border, but we'll get the tax breaks in Indiana. So we can do that. And Illinois is going to say, oh my God, no, don't go. Because that's why they're abandoning Arlington. Because they're going to pay the same taxes in the state of Illinois. That to me what this is. They didn't get the tax breaks. They didn't get the deal they wanted. So now they're going to go out and throw this into the mix to say, we could go to Gary, Indiana, and we could actually make that a metropolis. We could own that city, and we won't have to pay. Because Indiana, and I will say this, Indiana taxes, ridiculously low. Great state to go live in. I mean, I got a couple of people that live there, and when I see what their taxes are compared to what we pay here in Wisconsin, I'm like, wow, that's impressive. Now, considering what they pay in Illinois, where Illinois homeowners have basically paid a 50% hike over the last, 4 years or something to that? I was reading. That's what this is. They don't want to pay the taxes. So it's a shot over the bow to the mayor of Chicago and to Pritzker, their governor, to say, you either give us a tax break or we're going to just push forward with this and we'll take it across the border. And then you do what you want with it. We'll keep it close enough to the city, and they'll have to expand the infrastructure. But yeah, we'll build it over in Gary, Indiana, and we'll make Gary a metropolis. That's to me what this is. So yeah, because otherwise you just say, no, we're going to Arlington Park.
Could have waited a couple of weeks. I just don't understand why Kevin Warren's like, get my stationery. This goes out tonight.
He must have been put like pressure by the Bears organization to say, get this done. We want some kind of a decision in 2026 to where we're damn near breaking ground because we want this over. And so now they're looking at where their taxes are and they're saying, no, we want this in place for the 2026 tax-based season so we can move forward. And if we don't get what we want, we're leaving. That's what this is. But it's just, I agree with you. He was brought in to fix this. He was brought in to get this deal done, to do it under the table or to do it quietly and just get it done. And this has been just like every other deal with every other politician in Illinois, it is a crapshoot. It just turns to doo-doo. So we just smile. I remember, and I don't want to get too nostalgic here, but I remember both stadiums at the time were looking for taxpayer dollars in referendums to be able to, kind of renovate stadiums. And they needed $675 million to just renovate Soldier Field at the time because they wanted to preserve the columns and the outer stance of Soldier Field. And what the Packers wanted was $275 million just to keep it kind of growing and thriving and, making money. And everybody got both. We all know that. Look what the mess is that they built in Chicago that is now completely antiquated. It's the smallest stadium in football. It doesn't make them money, and the Parks Department runs it, as opposed to what the Taj Mahal is that we have in Green Bay. It just proves to you the depth, and I'm going to call it what it is, the depth of corruption that took place down there in Illinois to get that deal done, and it still turned out to be crap because we're what? When did they renovate Lambeau Field? Like 2004, 5, something like that, 6. I can't remember what year they did it.
I feel like it's been more recent than that, but I don't know.
But now they need to move out of that stadium down in Chicago, whereas the Packers are hosting the draft and people are calling it the Mecca of all of football, the Taj Mahal of all of football. So thank God we are where we are and we're the fans of the team that we are. Because what a mess. What a mess down there in Chicago. Not that I want to go too deep into that, but I smile and laugh because Chicago is a big city with a family that has a small market mentality, and that you could flip them with the Browns who own Cincinnati and it would be the exact same situation. It's just so poorly run. So poorly run. 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, you can do so. But all in all, Tonight, we got a lot going on. There was Inside. Now, who do we want to listen to next? Because Mike Clemens did yeoman's work. We're going to talk to Mike coming up at the bottom of the hour. But Mike Clemens did yeoman's work today. Evan Williams spoke. Christian Watson spoke. God, who else? Jordan Love spoke today. Jeff Hafley spoke today.
Isn't it a green flag or a good sign that they're allowing Watson and Williams to speak with the media?
Yes.
You and Mike know better the inner workings of that, but that to me signals that if they don't play this weekend, they're really close.
Yep. Yeah, you know what? We can make it a crapshoot because they're all good. And then we got Mike at the bottom of the hour. We got Mark Schofield coming up at the top of the next hour. And then we get into our picks at the bottom of the next hour. It's a 2-hour extravaganza of football and Packers radio stuff, niceties, so to speak. Getting you ready for the game coming up this Saturday night.
Because the Bears still suck.
There you go. Just throwing it out there. All right, let's do this. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. Let's do this. How was Jeff Hafley? Because I want to hear from Jeff Hafley. Yeah, let's hear from Jeff Hafley. Let's hear from Jeff Hafley when we come back, because obviously he's got a monumental task trying to figure things out. Life after Micah. Listening to Jeff Hafley when we return. Don't go anywhere. It's the Huddle. We're right here, and right now.
Oh, yeah. This is the Huddle with Bill Michaels on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Glad you are on board tonight. Packers getting ready to go to Chicago. Taking on the Bears. Coming up on Saturday night, 7:20 kickoff at Soldier Field. Yours truly, Mike Clemens, both going to be down at Soldier Field. The Green Gold postgame show going to emanate live from the Shy Bar inside the Sheridan Grand Riverwalk after the game. So stop on by and say hello. We'll be there. Mike will be then inside the locker room down at Soldier Field. Like I said, I'm going to be getting back to the Shy Bar inside the Sheridan Grand Riverwalk Hotel, and we'll be talking and breaking down this entire game coming up at 10:30 Central Time until midnight, till the bewitching hour of midnight in Chicago. So we're looking forward to it. Jeff Hafley, defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. Let's take a listen to what he said today.
Okay. What do we got?
How to replace Micah?
I figured you'd ask about Micah. Well, first, just kind of thinking back to, a couple months ago, Micah just getting here. Obviously the injury has been talked about. And I think the biggest thing is this. The most important thing, and I said this to the team, for me, the most important thing about being a coach is, one, I want to do everything we can to win, right? That's number one. And then number two is to have your players have personal success. Like that's like what drives me to coach. And I told them that. And unfortunately, injuries are a part of this game, and they're hard. And, it's upsetting for that person. It's upsetting for the team. And, I certainly feel for Micah. He's a guy that came in here literally like 3 days before we played a game. Didn't even know him. Went training camp all off season and quickly developed a really good relationship with him. The amount of one-on-one time we spent talking football, just getting to know him, just the amount of respect I have for him and how he came in and worked, and how hard he worked, and how hard he played, and how hard he does play in the run game, in the pass game, the way he strains. I just have so much respect for the guy, and I'm sad for the guy, but at the same time, I know that just knowing who he is, just wait until you guys see how hard he works to come back, how fast he probably comes back. And somehow I probably, if I were a betting man, would bet that he comes back even better and probably breaks the sack record next year. So I'm going to put that on Micah and myself, and you guys can put it out there. And that's the confidence I have in him. But it's certainly sad when anybody gets injured. As far as the team goes, I told them, you can't let circumstance dictate behavior. It's just a week ago, we're in here after we beat the Bears, and we're all walking in here all upbeat and ready to roll. And I said, shame on you if you walk in here any different today. That's not who we are, right? And that's our job as leaders and as coaches to make sure that we don't do that. We got really good players. We've played good defense, and we're going to continue to play good defense. And our guys understand that. And I think it's important for everybody to understand that these guys have a lot of pride, and they're going to get even closer because of this, and they're going to play well. And our best players are going to step up. And the guys who haven't played a lot, that's been our job all year to develop those guys. So in situations like this, they're going to step up. And we're going to play hard, and we're going to coach hard, and we're going to do everything we can to win. So that's my take on all this. But this is press on, full speed ahead, and we're ready to go.
So your other players saw the TV coverage of him coming from Dallas to Green Bay. Some of them he played against them, but what has he done for your other players, meetings or in the practice field?
I think it's what you see on tape. It's how hard he plays. It's how hard he strains. It's how he tries to set edges. He tries to rush the passer. He gets off blocks. He runs after the quarterback. I mean, it's just exactly what you see on tape, But we got a lot of guys like that. I mean, we got guys who have been doing that around here for a long time. Guys like Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper and Xavier McKinney and Rashawn Gary and all those guys. I mean, that's what they've done. And we've played good defense, and we'll continue to play good defense. Are we going to miss Micah? Yeah, we're going to miss Micah. Absolutely. But we've got good players who are ready to go. And that's the whole mindset right now. And they know that. And they take pride in that. And I think they're looking forward to this. Look, we're getting ready to play. We're 4-0 in our division, right? We beat the Bears a week ago. We didn't play well enough. With or without Micah, we didn't play well enough on Sunday. I mean, that's the truth. I didn't coach good enough. We didn't play good enough, and we lost the game. right? But we got guys that are getting ready to go in there 4-0 in the North with a game in Chicago to go put us up in the North, and that's all they're focused on right now. And I can't wait for it.
Jeff, just get back to Micah real quick. The sack record, like as in the NFL sack record?
Let's go. Watch.
Just want to clarify.
And I think Micah will stand by and sit there with me. I mean, he's the type of guy. Give Micah adversity, watch what happens. Give our defense and give our team adversity and watch what happens. And we'll find out.
That's regardless of if he misses games or not.
We'll see when he comes back.
Okay.
So last year you were like 6th in points allowed, something like that. So obviously you played really good defense last year. I'm not asking for the game plan stuff, but what did you like about how you played defense last year that maybe you can take into
Just like the play style. I like the fundamentals and technique. I like how we tackled. I liked how we got off blocks. I like how we competed. I like how we ran to the ball. We have good players that made plays. You know, every year is different, right? We evolved last year and found out who we were. We thought we were going to be something different coming into the season. We evolved. We played really good defense this year, you know, and we'll continue to do that.
Jeff, it's obviously your job to go forward and create this new plan without Micah. How long does it take you when you see, knowing his significance, he goes down to get to that point? I mean, is there a grieving point? Is there, oh my goodness, this happened? What goes through your mind when you see that?
Yeah, I'm upset for the player. I mean, like I said, I care about these guys, and to see Devontae Wyatt's out, right? He's been out for the year. That's upsetting to me, right? We have other guys. Van Ness hasn't played a whole lot this year, and you know those are upsetting. Mike is out. It's the same thing. But my responsibility is to this defense and to the Green Bay Packers. And now we got really good players in the room that we need to lead and we need to coach and we need to press on. So certainly it's upsetting. And did I have a few moments where, yeah, it was seeing Micah and looking him in the eye and seeing him sitting there. That's hard. It'd be hard for anybody who cares about somebody. I mean, I love the guy. But then you wake up and you get back to work and you have to move on. I mean, that's part of the job. And, you know, I think it's maybe helped. I mean, maybe my time at BC, you know, I was thinking back to adversity. There is adversity when you're a head coach. You get stuff that comes at you every single day and you have hard moments, right? And you learn that, I mean, you just got to keep moving forward. And when you are the leader, I mean, people are going to look to you and how you respond to things. And that's how I'm looking at our players right now, our coaches right now. And it is go forward to the Bears as hard and as fast as we can. And I've got all the confidence in the world of the guys in the room right now.
Jeff, if this is dumb, please tell me.
Dude, I've known you now for 2 years. You have not asked me one dumb question.
It's the first time for everything.
Now, if this one is dumb, I'm just not going to respond. You'll just see me turn over here and turn my head.
Should have been here the last 28 years.
That's all right. All right, come on, give me a shot at this one.
So from January to August 27th, you are building a defense that does not have Micah Parsons on it.
Yeah.
And then you get him, and you told us about all your stuff you came up with. Is there? It sucks that you lost him.
Mm-hmm.
You wish you had him.
Yeah.
Is there anything from the experience of building your defense that you didn't know you were going to have this guy, this transformative player? Is there anything useful that comes out of those 8.5 months that now can apply, or is that not true?
There's a lot. That's a great question. So yes, there is a lot, but I'm not going to tell you any of those things. And I know you don't expect me to tell you any of those things. I mean, but all right. So the way I look at it, and I've said this to you guys before, I don't have a playbook where I say, this is the playbook, this is we're running because we have the people in this room. Here's what I believe my job is to do. Figure out who's in the room and how to put those players in the best position to succeed. And each week, figure out the best way to win the game. And that's what I believe is my job to do as the defensive coordinator. So if we have a certain player with a skill set, I need to figure out how to use it to take advantage of what we need to do to win. Different players, whatever we need to do to win. If that's new scheme, it's new scheme. If it's putting guys in new positions, it's putting them in new positions. If it's putting certain guys in position to make more plays, that's my job. And it doesn't matter how long I have, I need to figure it out. And that's what we're looking to do.
Jeff, on that play, did you even realize that Evan got hurt on the same play? And if you aren't with, don't mean to make make a joke out of it, but if you're without him, how much faith do you have in Zane and what he did last year and then this year as well if he needs to fill in?
I didn't realize that was the play. No, I found out fairly quickly. I thought Zane did a really nice job in the game. I thought Zane did a really nice job when he had to come in against the Saints last year, and he started the game and he had the interception on the backside of the boot. Zane's a guy who's played great on special teams. Zane's a guy who's smart. He's been in the league for a while. Total confidence in Zane, 100%. If Evan cannot go, I have confidence in Zane and other guys to play. And I just look at the interior D line this year, right? Look at the other guys that we've had to play with and move around, and we got to develop these players, and that's this league. It's still a developmental league in a lot of regards, and we got to get guys ready to go. And that's a great example of what Ryan Downard and DA have done to make sure Zane was ready to go in that moment, and he did a nice job.
Jeff, do you have to have a fairly flexible game plan this week? Because when you've been playing all these weeks with Micah and knowing how teams are going to block him or try to block him, and now all of a sudden he's gone, and do you have any idea how teams are going to approach your defense?
Sure, you watch film and you see how they play against other teams, and you kind of compare and watch, and you have a plan on how you think they're going to play against us. You know, we played against them a week ago. There's certain things that worked well against us. There's certain things that did not work well against us. There's certain things that we better correct, or they're going to try to attack us again. There's certain things they did well against the Browns last week in similar situations. There's certain things they did against the Eagles. And I mean, that's pretty much how you have to game plan.
And from your standpoint, if you're not getting the rush you normally get with Micah Parsons, is that part of the flexibility too, that you have to do something?
Yeah, even if we weren't getting rushed with Micah, there's other ways you have to have answers. You can't just count on one thing. So certainly, whatever it takes for us to do, if that requires getting pressure, whatever we need to do to get pressure. If we got to stop the run, whatever it takes to stop the run. So to answer your question, yes, absolutely.
Is it feasible, it's week 16 and you have the offseason plan, but it's been 3 months.
You guys love the offseason stuff. This is like we could write a book now. We didn't think we had Micah. We got Micah. Now there is no Micah. So we're moving on to that. So go ahead.
Yeah, is it feasible without getting into the details to make wholesale changes in scheme this late in the year when you've been playing one way for months now?
Anything's possible. So we'll see.
How do you, I'm not saying you're doing this, but how do you pull that? What's the key to pulling that off if you do need to make a dramatic?
Well, it's how we teach, right? It's words. It's tweaking calls. It's tweaking words within the call to do different things. It's how we built a system part to whole where you can move pieces around very quickly. It's not, let me try to explain this. When we built a scheme, the way I like to teach is in part to whole. Right? So you learn this, you learn this, you learn this, you learn this. And before you even learn a call, you learn this technique, you learn this technique, you learn this technique, you learn this technique, right? You say you're a linebacker, right? And now everybody learns those techniques so we can start moving pieces around in calls and do different things. That gives us flexibility to change fairly quickly. Does that make sense?
There you go. That's Jeff Hafley talking to the media. There's more. We can get to it tomorrow on the program, but some interesting stuff there. And a lot of questions about, what are you going to do after life after Micah? And, and rightfully so. He's like, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to give you what the plan is. We got a game coming up in a few days here, and we're not going to give them time to prepare. Other guys are going to have to play well and have to step up and all the cliches, but, and obviously he talks about what Micah meant to the team. But yeah, he's not going to give you state secrets. It's not going to happen. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Let's do this. We'll step out. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Mike Clemens is going to be joining us live in Green Bay, coming out of those press conferences earlier today. Stay tuned. We got more of the Bill Michaels Huddle next.
Let we go. This is the Huddle with Bill Michaels on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
It means a lot to these guys. There's a lot of time invested into it, and it should hurt. I mean, why are we doing this if it doesn't hurt?
I think it's how I hit the ground. Just like I think my elbow had hit first, so it kind of just jams your shoulder up into your shoulder.
You hate to see injuries.
Right now, we'll watch the play first because they're going deep. They're going deep, and stepping in front is Sir
Welcome back. Christian Watson injured on that particular play. When he came down, he kind of jammed the shoulder. Mike Clemens in Green Bay joining us on the hotline to talk more about that and so much more. It sounded so interesting today coming out of the Green Bay Packers locker room. Mike, how you doing tonight?
Good, Bill. You know, I could feel your emotion in a tweet you made right after that play. It was like, you know, Christian Watson hurt again. Like, come on, man.
Right.
And I, you know, I kind of agreed with that. I mean, that's just you're acting just like a fan. Like, why is this guy always getting hurt? What now? And even though you're around him and you know how much he has used the facilities to build up his body, to improve himself, still got the speed, how his hands have gotten much better over the last 3 years. But he's got that height, and he's got the gifts. But I'm thinking, like, I don't remember Jordy ever having this trouble. I remember Donald Driver making, you know, 50-50 ball catches flying through the air and getting hit midair and spun like a helicopter and taking shots and hanging onto the football, and maybe some concussions back then. So he took the hard hits. But I don't remember Jordy or Greg Jennings having these problems. Why is this guy just landing, you know, on a football, and now he ends up in the hospital? So first of all, the Packers thought they had a touchdown play there. And Jordan Love said, you know what, the last second, though, he got hit, which might have made that ball come just a little bit short. Patrick Surtain makes this incredible play where he leaves his feet, goes flying through the air, and makes the pick. Christian Watson is now diving for the ball. And I'll say this, there's been an awful lot of passes that Jordan Love throws out there where guys have to dive for it as opposed to hit it in stride, right?
Yep.
Which leads to some of these injuries and incidents like that. But whatever, Watson comes down, the elbow lands first, then it goes up through the shoulder, and then that pain gravitates to the chest, and now he's just got this traumatic pain, throbbing situation going through the shoulder, through the chest. They took him to the hospital. You know what, primarily is because to say, all right, we got to make sure you're okay. So, as you know, the pain could mask serious things like a fracture, like a puncture, or whatever. And now you can't be on a 3-hour plane ride.
Right.
So we have to check that out because there's nothing we could do on a plane ride.
Right.
So that's the main reason that he went to the hospital, has a CT scan. And I think it's primarily a shoulder. There was also a doctor on NFL radio was saying, you know, it's also not just looking for bone fractures, but there's arteries by there that can feed the aorta, and that can be a blood thing. But it really wasn't anything in terms of ribs and punctured lungs. It was primarily to see what's going on with his shoulder. So we talked to Christian Watson today, and there he's out there, helmet and pads, and he's, you know, limited, but he's out there catching passes. Like, is there a chance he could play? And so we talked about how he got hurt, and is there any chance he could play Saturday night against the Bears?
That's my goal. I mean, obviously, I got to make sure that they, you know, clear me in the medical room and everything, and make sure everything's good. But I mean, my goal is just to have, you know, a couple, you know, good days leading up to the game, and you know, hopefully it feels a little bit better each and every day. And you know, we're at the point of the season where you gotta fight through some stuff, so it should be good.
Was it just from how Surtain landed on you?
I think it's how I hit the ground. Just like I think my elbow had hit first, so it kind of just jams your shoulder up into your shoulder. I'm not sure, but yeah, this is how I landed. Was a little awkward.
They had a couple of injuries in this game other than Micah Parsons. One was Christian Watson. The other one, Mike, I thought was significant. You don't want to lose Evan Williams because he's been great coming off the edge. He has been a really solid tackler back there in the safety position, and he went down in this one as well.
He has, and he got hurt last year, too, in his rookie season. And Zane Anderson, who's primarily like a gunner, a flyer, as they called him, on their coverage teams and special teams, they thought he did a nice job last year. I think he had a pick in one game, filling in at safety. So they're comfortable with Zane Anderson back there at safety. But Evan's their guy. Such a smart young player, and an aggressive tackler as well. So Evan Williams talked about that he's now suffered a sprained MCL. He had a grade 3 tear when he was in college. He doesn't think this one is that bad. but he was asked how it happened during the third quarter against the Broncos.
What happened? Just I got rolled into. I was, fighting off a block. Just got rolled into MCL. Yeah, it was on the same play as Micah's. So yeah,
That's why there were no eyes.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah. Truthfully, my story, yeah, it was funny from my point of view because the play finished. I'm rolling over. I'm like, oh my god, like I know something happened, and then I'm like, I look up thinking there's gonna be a couple trainers. There's one trainer holding a water bottle, and I'm like, where's everybody else? 15 in a circle all around Mike. I was like, oh damn, but yeah.
You're kind of like the innocent bystander casualty of that.
Right, you've got a knee injury, and you're down, and you're pointing, hey, give me some help. And one trainer with a bottle of water shows up. Like, where the hell is everybody?
Right.
And then you look across the field like, number one's down, and there's 15 guys in LaFleur standing around looking at him. Okay, I get that. Well, can somebody help me up here?
Right.
So, Micah Parsons officially put on injured reserve today. They confirmed when he got back it is, an ACL tear. He's waiting for a baby to be born. I guess he's back in the Dallas area where the house and the rest of the family is. And so he'd kind of like to be there when the baby's born and then go into surgery himself and go through the immediate recovery and all that. So I talked about how after the game, you go into that Packers visitors locker room at Mile High, and these guys, they were so gassed. They'd gotten beat by a good team. I think that gets into your head like, maybe we're not that good. Maybe we're not going to get that far this year. This was humbling. And there's that feeling of distraught. And it's, and a bunch of guys got hurt as well. You're just kind of helpless there for a few moments. And you're going to your phones to find out what exactly happened to Micah Parsons. One player told me that today. Yeah, that's how we find out sometimes. You guys let us know what actually happened immediately after a game like that. It's not like the coach is going to bring it up. So I went to Jeff Hafley today and said, okay, a couple of your guys maybe have played against Micah Parsons, but you went through all last offseason, the draft, mini camps, training camp with this one particular scheme and plan in place, led by Xavier McKinney and Rashawn Gary. And then it's just like 3 days into the season, this unbelievable trade gets all this coverage on TV. And so, the average player's like, wow, Micah Parsons is coming here from Dallas. And now you get right into the season. So it's kind of hard to get to know the guy, but you see him at practice, you hear him in the meetings, and it's like, okay, this is an alpha dude. This is a dog. This is one of our leaders. So I said to Hafley today, so how much influence has Micah had on his teammates in Green Bay for being there just the last 3.5 months?
I think it's what you see on tape. It's how hard he plays. It's how hard he strains. It's how he tries to set edges. He tries to rush the passer. He gets off blocks. He runs after the quarterback. I mean, it's just exactly what you see on tape, But we got a lot of guys like that. I mean, we got guys who have been doing that around here for a long time. Guys like Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper and Xavier McKinney and Rashawn Gary and all those guys. I mean, that's what they've done. And we've played good defense, and we'll continue to play good defense. Are we going to miss Micah? Yeah, we're going to miss Micah. Absolutely. But we've got good players who are ready to go. And that's the whole mindset right now. And they know that. And they take pride in that. And I think they're looking forward to this. Look, we're getting ready to play. We're 4-0 in our division, right? We beat the Bears a week ago. We didn't play well enough. With or without Micah, we didn't play well enough on Sunday. I mean, that's the truth. I didn't coach good enough. We didn't play good enough, and we lost the game, right? But we got guys that are getting ready to go in there 4-0 in the North with a game in Chicago to go put us up in the North, and that's all they're focused on right now. And I can't wait for it.
Mike, they're going to have to play, defensively speaking, specifically, almost a perfect game to be able to stop the run. And then obviously to see if you can't get, Caleb Williams to either give you one or just throw balls away the way he did in the game at Lambeau. But the biggest thing is you can't have another game in which you have 10 penalties. You thought a lot of these penalties, specifically the stupid ones, were pretty much cured, and then they reared their ugly heads again.
No, with each week, though, when I watch Bears tape, Caleb Williams has gone from, the week of the last Packers-Bears game here at Lambeau Field, where Micah Parsons was doing his impression of Caleb, where, he's dancing and dodging and, Caleb has now gotten out. I think Ben Johnson has coached him up to say, look, if you're going to get out of the pocket, if you feel the pressure, get out of there right away. Don't hang there in the middle of the pocket and dodge guys. Use your legs to get out to the flats and find your platform earlier, quicker. And he did that against the Browns and made an unbelievable throw to DJ Moore for a touchdown. So he's improving in terms of how he uses his feet. Then when it comes to the penalties, the thing that really ticked off Matt LaFleur is unnecessary roughness. That's 15 yards. Now, I thought he would be really nuts about Javon Bullard pulling up the wide receiver, Troy Franklin, and pile driving him into the ground. And I don't know if the whistle had been blown. You can't tell when looking at this tape stuff. Like a Charles Martin move on Jim McMahon. But the one that really ticked him off is J.J. Enagbari pushing and shoving the punter, the Broncos punter, and getting 15 yards. Here's LaFleur.
I was disappointed with the JJ penalty because that's what I'm talking about. The emotion of the game, felt like he was held, didn't get a call, and then he took it out on the punter. And we can't do that. That's not winning football. Certainly address that with the guys. I think you can't, especially in the magnitude of those types of games.
Let's do this. Mike Clemens joining us on the hotline. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We got more to get to. Mike's in Green Bay. Active day today in Green Bay. Packers getting ready for a short week. Saturday night, 7:20 kickoff down at Soldier Field. Stay tuned. We got more of the Huddle right after this.
This is the Huddle with Bill Michaels on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
I mean, I think anytime you have turnovers, you always wish you can get those ones back and make something different, make a better throw, better read. So I'd say the turnovers are always the ones you wish you can get back for sure.
Those are the words Jordan Love. Had a couple of them in that contest. And, obviously the one that was thrown behind Dontavian Wicks popped into the air, and that ended up getting picked, the 50-50 ball that had it just been just a yard deeper. Chances are Christian Watson comes down with it, and who knows what the outcome of the game at that point might be. But Mike Clemens joining us up in Green Bay, coming out of the Packers locker room from a whole bevy of interviews and such a little bit earlier today. And Mike, Jordan Love, we've been talking about this all week is, Jordan Love now spotlight's on him. I mean, he's really going to have to be almost perfect and keep that offense moving and putting points on the board to be able just simply to outscore teams.
Yeah, or overcome other penalties, like when your left tackle, Rasheed Walker, gets 2 false start penalties on the road. And last week, Sean Payton, the veteran coach of the Broncos, publicly said, and by the way, he says, we want the fans to back us up. And I've talked to the scoreboard crew, but, when our opponent in the fourth quarter is in the huddle, that's when we need the noise. That's when we want to crank up the sound. And so today I talked to Jordan at his locker. I told him that story. He goes, yeah, it got louder. That probably messed us up. So today, LaFleur was talking about, the false start penalties, illegal formation and shift penalties against the Broncos game and how that cost them. This is sort of a montage.
You got to be disciplined enough, and you got to control yourself. I mean, we had a costly penalty last time we played these guys. So we had a couple of them, but like one that I feel like is within our control, and we got to be disciplined. And if guys see a guy like losing his mind, they got to grab him.
Along those lines, I don't know if you'd agree, but I felt like the procedural stuff, you'd really clean that up.
Well, I think some of it, we had an illegal shift. I just wish there was some consistency in how the league calls that. Sometimes it's tighter than others. They had a couple of illegal shifts that didn't get called. So it is what it is. But yeah, we got to be better than that. We got to pay attention. We need urgency out of the huddle. It always starts, and I tell the guys this, it starts with the play call coming to the huddle and then getting to the line of scrimmage, especially in a road environment where it's tough to communicate with time to operate. And when we're laid out the huddle, it rushes everything. And I think that's a byproduct, or those penalties were a byproduct of some of that stuff. So the point of emphasis is the urgency in terms of getting into the huddle, hearing the call, and then getting the line of scrimmage. And then you better know your plan inside and out.
After the game, Sean said he wanted to thank the fans. And last week, he also talked about maybe the scoreboard crew helping out a little bit.
I thought our crowd was outstanding. We got penalties because of it. The atmosphere was fantastic. I thought our defense in the second half rebooted. It's good offense we were playing.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great atmosphere for the National Football League, and they did a great job. And I'm sure it's going to be much the same on Saturday night in Chicago.
Yeah, they're going to be amped up. I mean, maybe not after the news today that they could possibly go to play in Gary, Indiana, or Hammond, Indiana, but nevertheless. Mike, I mean, look, they lost to a good team. I mean, this was a really good Denver Broncos team and one of the top defenses in all of football. At least now you face the best. Now you face a little bit lesser defense coming up in Chicago.
Yeah, and while you were playing that, I also thought, remember the incident in the last Packers-Bears game where the rookie receiver Luther Burden, grabbed? Yeah, he grabs Keyshawn Nixon by the neck.
Right.
And Keyshawn just tries to, move out of it, slap his hand away, and Keyshawn Nixon gets sportsmanlike call. That's the taunting crap you got to get out of. So my main concern about the Packers is down as they were after that game, and now you're getting back to it, and everybody's all banged up because it's week 16. I said, after losing to the Broncos, do you guys still have the confidence you can beat the Bears and still clinch a playoff spot? I asked that to Jordan Love.
Yeah, no, I definitely know for a fact, we won't be losing any confidence in who we are as a team. But, I think as a leader and for the other leaders, it's just keep pushing that message out there that, we still got everything we want right in front of us. And it starts by handling business this Saturday, obviously with a division game. But, no, nobody's losing confidence in what we're doing. And, we still got what we want right in front of us and just got to go handle business.
Big game coming up, but after losing, how much did that game affect the Broncos game affect them, do you think, Mike? And have they been able to put it behind them?
I was more encouraged today. And so, you know what? I asked a backup guy like Malik Willis, where do you think the rest of these guys are, the first string guys are, in terms of where they think they are to be able to finish this thing out over the next 3 weeks?
Yeah, I don't think one game should deter any mindset that we have around here, and I don't think it will. I think these guys are resilient, and they went out there today to get better and get ready for the Bears this week, and I think that's all that matters, taking it 1 week at a time.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically all you can do. But like you said, you felt a little bit better coming out of the locker room today, after the pall has lifted a little bit, correct?
Yeah, give him a day for the Micah Parsons thing to set in. Let LaFleur go to them yesterday and say, here's 5 plays that you screwed up in. Now, losing teams, losing coaches do this all the time. But if you do it effectively, then you can and you look into the hearts of the second stringers and say, well, here's your opportunity. You wanted your shot. You're the ones with the fresh legs. Congratulations. You'll probably get a lot more playing time like Zane Anderson, against the Bears offense and Caleb Williams back there at safety. Now's your time to shine.
Mike, great stuff as always. We'll talk later this week, and then we'll also be down there in Chicago. Appreciate it, bud.
Thank you, Bill.
There you go. Mike Clemens, the best, coming out of the locker room. Perspective. When we come back, we'll start to roll around the storylines of the NFL. That is coming up next. Don't go anywhere. 1 hour down to the Bill Michaels Huddle with another hour yet to go. We'll be back right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, it's going to be a wait-and-see type of week for the Packers on the injury front. That was the word from Coach Matt LaFleur today as they began to prep for their trip to Chicago coming up on Saturday night. He said Christian Watson, Zach Tom, and Ed Williams are all among those that will be given the entire week to determine whether they'll be able to play or not. He said Josh Jacobs also battling through his knee injury. One guy they know they won't have is Micah Parsons, the star pass rusher, done for the year with a torn ACL. LaFleur admitted things would have to change on defense without him.
You definitely have some inventory and stuff that we've worked throughout the course of the offseason into training camp. We didn't get them until right before week 1. So you got to kind of dust off some stuff and formulate the best plan as you know how. Fortunately, we feel like we have a lot of other very good players that can go out there and execute.
It'll be the Packers and Bears on Saturday night, kick slated for 7:20. Turn to the Badgers, starting nickelback Jameer Latimer headed to the transfer portal when it opens January 2nd, likely to end up at West Virginia. That's where his brother, four-star running back Amari, signed as part of the 2026 class after decommitting from Wisconsin.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
All business owners want the same thing, to make their business succeed. At Rural Mutual, they help that happen. As the third largest writer of commercial business in Wisconsin, they take the time to learn your business so they can properly protect you. Call your local agent today or visit ruralmutual.com.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Wisconsin basketball team on the floor for practice earlier today as they prep for Friday night's matchup against Villanova at Fiserv Forum. The Bucks going to host Toronto on Thursday down in Milwaukee as well. And the Wisconsin volleyball team getting ready for their Final Four matchup against Kentucky on Thursday night in Kansas City. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Are you ready for some football? He talks green and gold.
158!
This is the Huddle with Bill Michaels.
Hour number 2. How we looking? Bill Michaels Huddle on a Wednesday night. Packers getting ready for the Bears coming up this weekend. And by the way, the injury report, they did place Micah Parsons on the IR today. So that became official. For the Green Bay Packers, they have got a laundry list of injuries. The big ones, by the way, coming out of the Bears camp was you've got Luther Burden, the wide receiver. He's got the ankle injury, had not practiced over the last couple of days. Odunze, the foot injury, not practiced the last couple of days. Obung Beminja, tough for me to say. The linebacker, he's got the hamstring, did not practice. He is not out there. DeAndre Swift has the groin issue, limited today. So, and the other one was Tremaine Edmonds, the linebacker. He's set to be coming back, designated to return from the IR or in that practice window, in that 21-day practice window. In the meantime, the Packers, Marshawn Lloyd, did not practice today, for those that are wanting to know. He comes back. He had the hamstring. Now he's got a calf injury. Didn't practice again today. So he's designated to return, but we'll wait and see because he's injured again.
They put him back, so it's a little complicated. They put him back on the active roster, only then to put him back on injured reserve.
Right.
So if they want to bring him back now, they would have to reopen his window.
Right.
And I don't know if there's a minimum stint he has to stay, but Matt LaFleur basically said in his presser on Monday that he's done for the year.
Done for the year, yeah. I think it's a 4-week window. When you go back to the IR, you have minimum of 4 weeks. So, yeah, he's done. I mean, this has just been he's a 2-year bust so far because he can't even find the field. So his ability is the lack of availability, but nevertheless. So Savion Williams with that foot issue limited today. As I'd mentioned, Evan Williams did not practice today. He's got the sprained MCL. My guess is, I know he wants to. You heard him talk to Mike. He wants to be back, but my guess is probably not. Wiley not practicing today because he's in the concussion protocol. Zach Tom got the back issue, the knee issue now, not practicing. That doesn't look good. 2 days in a row, not practicing. Obviously, Micah Parsons. You've got, who else did not practice today? Josh Jacobs. Now, Josh Jacobs is wanting, they just feel like he could go tomorrow and then be ready to go. We'll wait and see. But he's another one that did not practice. So, but their injury report today is probably 15 guys, 16 guys long. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 guys. 19 guys. I stand corrected. 19 guys on the injury report. So, man, it is a massive, massive, massive amount of people.
Before we get to Mark Schofield, Mike Clemens on my show last week gave this 9-second breakdown of Marshawn Lloyd's career so far. Would you like to hear it? I can play it for you.
Yeah, please play that.
Yeah, this is just a quick synopsis.
And people keep on asking me, about Lloyd, right? The running back.
Yep.
Who cares?
So there you go.
There you go.
I just think
there
that's funny.
you go. Yeah, he's just, for those who want to call him a bust, call him a bust. He can't find the field. He can't find the field at all. As a third round, as a third round draft choice, running back can't find the field. Now, speaking of Mark Schofield, SB Nation, NFL analyst, a lot of storylines to get to in a very short period of time. Mark, how you doing, bud?
I am doing well, Bill. Hope you're doing well today.
We're doing good. I'm going to start with the question that everybody's been dealing with here in this area, and that is life after Micah Parsons. What does that do, in your opinion, to, because some will say, well, the season's over. Others will say, well, look, this was going to be a defense that was going to be okay at the beginning of the season. Should wait and see. I know there's some guys that are missing, but give me your thoughts when you saw Micah Parsons go down. Just give me your thoughts regarding the ACL and the loss of him for the season.
Well, it is a difficult injury that is going to pose some dilemmas for this defense, for this coaching staff, because if you think about where we were coming into the season with this Packers defense, one of the questions was, how do you generate pressure? And if you think back to when this trade went down and how we talked about it, having Micah Parsons, and I remember saying this directly, it gives you that card to play on 3rd and 7 in a late season game, in a playoff type atmosphere where push comes to shove, you have somebody that can win you a rep on a one-on-one situation off the edge in Micah Parsons. You have that ability to move him around the defensive front, put him in the A gap if you want to, put him on the edge, put him in a Y9, doesn't matter. He can win you a rep. He can win you a drive. He can win you a playoff game. Losing that certainly hurts. But again, like you said, there were ways to generate pressure before Micah Parsons, and there are now going to be ways you're going to have to generate pressure after Micah Parsons. You might have to do more stuff up front conceptually, stunts, twists, blitzes, things like that. Because while you don't have that one player to win a rep, you have other players that can generate pressure. But I do think this also puts more pressure on the offense now. Because part of the discussion around Micah Parsons and why you give up what you gave up to go get him is because of what he can do, the ways he can change games, the short fields he can give you, things like that. Now this offense is going to have to do some more. They're going to have to score some more points. They're going to have to start in this weekend, finish drives with 7, not 3, because you're not going to get that added bonus of, suddenly you get a quick change, suddenly you're back on the field as an offense. Micah's giving you a strip sack or something like that. And so there are things that they're going to have to overcome. There are ways they can overcome that. But certainly it's a tough injury. It's not if there are Packers fans out there thinking this is it, season's over, it's not going that far at all. You look around this NFC, every team's got questions. You look around the NFL, every team's got questions. Every team's got injuries that they're dealing with and things like that. The Packers can still win the NFC. The Packers can still make it to a Super Bowl. The Packers can still win the division. All of those things are still on the table. But yes, it has gotten a little bit harder with this injury.
Tell me, because what does Jordan Love have to do to make people believe? Because there seems to be almost a split of whether he is or isn't the guy, and he can and can't throw, and can manage the clock, and it seems to be like you either really believe in him or you're waiting for something. What do people need to see for people to go, okay, yeah, he's up there with? Because if you look at his numbers are spectacular, but people just don't have this level of belief in him, and I don't know what else he needs to do, what he needs on his resume for him to do to be able to kind of elevate himself when it comes to stature.
I mean, I think there's a micro and there's a macro here. I think of the big picture, easy, radio show type fodder discussion. He needs to get this team to a Super Bowl, whether it's this year or next. I think for many sort of, and I hate using the term casual fans, but for those types of fans that tune in on Sundays, seeing him lead this Packers team, whether it's this year or a year down the road or two, to a Super Bowl, seeing him when they gather around the TV on Super Bowl Sunday for player introductions, that's what they need to see. That's sort of the big picture thing here. For me, I think an area where he still needs to improve, and this is the double-edged sword of his talent and his arm talent, and something we talked about last week. Playing in the face of pressure in the pocket, both of those interceptions last week, both of which I think were tremendous plays by the involved defenders, Sertan and Moss, but they came when he was pressured. I think his adjusted completion percentage was like 25th in the NFL last week among qualified quarterbacks when he was pressured. And on those plays, there was an element of him maybe not stepping into throws, throwing it off the back foot, because he was sort of fading away from pressure. That's an area of his game from a down-to-down basis where I think he does need to improve. Because he has the ability, we talked last week about his sort of heat check throws where he can just throw it off the back foot, almost like it's a fadeaway jumper, and still get it there because he has elite level arm talent. But when you're pressured and you do that, sometimes you don't get enough on throws. You don't put it where it needs to be. The interception that Moss snared, which was a great reaction play by him, it was a high throw because he didn't step into it in the face of pressure. And so from a sort of execution down to down, playing the position aspect to it. People like you and I that eat, live, sleep football 7 days a week, every day, every week of the year. I think that's what people like us need to see, him clean up in that area. So big picture, casual fan perspective, get to a big game. I think that's what they want to see. But for people like me and you that live, eat, and breathe this stuff on a day-to-day basis, hour-to-hour basis, that's what I want to see him clean up. Playing better in the face of pressure in the pocket.
You and I talked last week about the Bears coming out of that Packers game and who had more confidence because the Bears were able to put together some offense in the second half. The Packers were able to move the football and get some scores. Now, without Micah Parsons, if you're the Bears, plus you're at home, do you come into this game, especially after beating up on the Cleveland Browns, who the Packers weren't really able to move the ball against, are you just loaded with confidence coming into this game, or are you still in the back of your mind going, yeah, we just simply can't get past the Green Bay Packers?
I think in a sense you're probably more confident given what's happened in the past 2 weeks, given what's happened from the second half of that game on, given the Parsons injury, given the fact you're playing at home, given where you are now in the division and what this game can do for you, given the opportunity that is in front of you as a football team. I think there's probably more confidence. There might be some veteran players in the back of their minds that are saying, it's still the Packers and we've struggled with them and haven't been able to get over that particular hump. I think by and large, you're feeling pretty good about things coming into this game. And, you wonder, you teed it up with the weather and the elements and the wind. Maybe you might feel that sort of plays to where you want to be, ground game and things like that. And so I think for a lot of the Bears players, that organization, and certainly I think their fan base, there's some confidence, headed into this game this weekend.
Got a lot of big games on the docket. I had mentioned this a little earlier. I want to start with the game that is coming up on Thursday night, the Rams and the Seahawks. These two teams really battling for the top spot in the NFC at this point, the top spot in their division. But the Rams, they lost Devontae Adams, and to see him go down, I can't imagine he's going to be ready for this game by any stretch. But to watch him just hobble the way he did, I got to think it's going to be 2 to 3 weeks. Does that shift the power now over to the Seahawks, do you think?
I think it might, and Puka is banged up too. I mean, and you're playing it on a short week. This is, like you said, it's a massive Thursday night game. And it's, in all intents and purposes, it's a division title game. It may be very well decide the number one seed in the NFC. And to have it on a short week where Puka and certainly Adams are banged up the way they are, I think it does shift the balance in this game to Seattle. And we've talked about these two teams in recent weeks and talked about how the fact that, yes, on paper, the quarterback edge, you certainly give it to the Rams, with Stafford the way he's playing, and they're very evenly matched teams, but you might give the edge overall to Seattle. You might give the edge to Seattle's defense and how good a unit that is, how good a group that is. And so short week, key players banged up. I do think that you would give the edge to Seattle in this game. But if you think back to that first meeting with everything that broke right for the Rams in that game, Seattle still had a chance to win. Mm-hmm. Darnold had that sort of Sam Darnold game that we always joke about. We always sort of wait for, bunker of a game. And Seattle still had a field goal shot with a chance to put that game away. And they didn't get it. But that's how close they were, even on a day where Sam Darnold wasn't at his best. You get a better, or at least an average performance from Sam Darnold, you probably win that game. And so I think when you frame it that way, you would give the edge to Seattle Thursday night.
You got a really good one in that NFC South, and you got the Panthers and the Buccaneers. Both of those teams sitting at 7-7. The Buccaneers have been somewhat reeling. They got Mike Evans back, but it wasn't enough. So tell me what you think about right now between this matchup of the Panthers and the Buccaneers, but more so the NFC South.
Well, somebody has to win the division. Somebody's going to get that spot. And somebody's going to end up being fodder for the team that loses on Thursday night, perhaps. I mean, it's a similar scenario to what we're seeing in the AFC, right? And this is something I've thought about. If you're one of these teams that's battling for either the 1 spot or the 2 spot or either conference, maybe you want to settle as the 5. Because, think about it. Let's say the Rams lose and they end up being the 5 seed. You have to go and play the winner of the NFC South. You'd largely pick the Rams against the Panthers or the Bucs. Similar situation in NFC, right?
Right.
You know, and on the NFC side, on the AFC side, you know, if you're the 2, you might get Houston. That, you don't want to see Houston in the first round. You'd rather be the 5. Like, and that's sort of the AFC East scenario that was playing out there. And so, you know, but somebody's going to win the South. But they're teams that are banged up. They're in Tampa Bay. And Evans, yes, he's come back, but the vibe out of that locker room and blowing that lead, and Mike Evans being frustrated, and Todd Bowles basically saying, look, you know, it's on the players. We can't do any more as a coaching staff. That doesn't feel like a locker room that's cohesive. That doesn't feel like a team that's together right now. Now, maybe this is the fire that they needed, and they go on a nice little run, but it doesn't feel great in Tampa Bay. And in Carolina, it's such a head-scratching team. You know, because one week you're like, oh, wow, it's really clicking for Panthers. It's really clicking for Bryce Young. And then next week it's like, what is this team? Are they an NFL football team? So I don't know. I'm sitting down to do my picks here in a couple minutes. I don't know what team I'm going to pick in that game. I'll probably pick Tampa Bay, but really it's a scenario where, yes, somebody's going to win this game. Somebody's going to win that division, but whoever it is, I'm not feeling confident about them headed into January.
3, maybe 4 really big games left on the docket, but the Jaguars suddenly look like a team. Like Liam Cohen just kept saying, trust the process, it'll get there, and damned if it's not. I mean, he's suddenly got Trevor Lawrence looking like the Trevor Lawrence when Doug Peterson first took him over years ago. All of a sudden, they're playing really well. They go into Denver. They got to take on the Broncos. Maybe the Packers gave them a little bit of a blueprint as to how to score, but the Jaguars are sitting at 10-4. Big game coming up with the Broncos this weekend. Talk about the Jaguars and the resurgence.
Yeah, and I do think it really starts with Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen and their ability to get on the same page, their ability to, you know, execute that offense at a high level. I mean, Trevor Lawrence last week doing things that we haven't seen before from, you know, quarterback with, you know, the touchdowns and 5 touchdown passes and things like that. I do think there's some context to a bit of this. I mean, you know, their last loss was a Houston defense that is going to give people problems. But then you look at this recent stretch of play that has seen them execute at such a high level, and you're talking about Arizona, you're talking about Tennessee, you're talking about an Indy team that's reeling, and then last week the Jets. And so I think this game against Denver is a massive measuring stick to see just how real this is, or if it was just sort of a recent upturn in performance, production, and execution and wins that has been buoyed by who they've gone against. And so it's been impressive. They're now, you know, just one game behind New England now in the AFC standings. And so, you know, Patriots fans are a little jittery because of that. But is it real? Is it a mirage because of who they played? We'll know based on how that game goes against Denver, because again, that's a very good defense. But if they hang with the Broncos, if they win that game, you know, that's going to be fascinating to see. So huge measure and stick performance and game coming up here for Jacksonville. It's been fantastic. Lawrence and Cohen certainly on the same page these past couple of weeks. It seems like it's clicking. Now let's see it against a very good football team.
The other two that are really interesting, one, obviously the Lions, because of their NFC North presence, they host the Steelers, and the Steelers 8-6, the Ravens 7-7. Steelers got to go on the road. They got to take on the Lions. Meanwhile, here come the Patriots, who just got beat by the Bills. They're 11-3, and they're going into Baltimore, and they're not afraid of the weather. God knows that. So the Ravens are going to have to win to keep pace with the Steelers. And in the meantime, the Patriots, now that lead that they have over there in that AFC North, they've got to make sure they can, or AFC East, they got to make sure that they win to stay ahead of the Buffalo Bills, who, you know, obviously this weekend, they have got, if I'm not mistaken, I think they got the Browns. Yeah, they got the Browns this weekend. So a lot of importance on those two games, the afternoon game and obviously the Sunday night game.
Yeah, I mean, two very, very big games. I mean, for Detroit, you know, you're sort of in elimination mode now. I mean, you've got to get wins. For Pittsburgh, you've got a chance, you know, if that game goes your way, you win that game, and then Baltimore loses to New England, you're feeling pretty good with 2 games to go, having a 2-game lead over Baltimore. And so I think that's an opportunity, you know, in that Detroit-Pittsburgh game. Both teams obviously need wins. You know, the Baltimore-New England game is fascinating because New England they come off the bye. They get out to an incredible start against Buffalo, 21-0, 24-7 at halftime. But then they just got run over in the second half. And Buffalo, they're such a good team in the second half of games. They did not panic. They stuck with the run game. And I think that's going to be a fascinating aspect of this Sunday night game, because early in the season, it wasn't until week 4 where the Patriots even gave up 100 rushing yards to a team. Week 4 against Carolina was the first time. Happened again in week 5. And then another 4-game stretch where they didn't give up 100 yards to an offense. But then Milton Williams goes down week 11 against the Jets, and they've been giving up 140, 150, 168 last week to Buffalo. Suddenly that run defense is a problem. Baltimore could be able to run the ball on Sunday night, and so that's going to be something to watch there. But 2 massive games, for New England. You had a chance to lock down the division last week. You lose to Buffalo. You can't clinch the division, but you can at least clinch a playoff spot. So certainly a big game for them. And for Baltimore, you're going to win to keep pace. Otherwise, again, you could be 2 games down with 2 weeks to go.
We got other games to get to. I know we're running a little bit late. Real quick, the Monday night game, that is the 49ers, who nobody are really talking about. Everybody talks about the NFC West being it's between the Seattle Seahawks and the LA Rams, but the 49ers are 10-4. They're only a couple of games back, and here come the Colts with a new quarterback who gave them a little bit of life and something to at least discuss, and that's going to be played in Indianapolis on Monday night, so that's a big game as well.
It is. This is where we talked about a month ago about the 49ers, and I said, look, they're going to get to 10-4 because of their schedule. They had a very favorable schedule. It's what happens from there that's going to be interesting. So they got to 10-4. They checked that box off the to-do list, but now it does get a little tougher for San Francisco. That Colts defense, I think, stepped up. Obviously they gave up the field goal late, but they kept them in that game against Seattle. So that's going to be an interesting test. San Francisco probably can't catch Seattle or LA for the division, but they're getting healthy. They've had this stretch of easier games on their schedule. And yes, while the games will get tougher from here to the finish, they put themselves in perhaps the best position possible to do some damage in the playoffs. And I think Vrabel probably wins Coach of the Year, but this might be the best job Kyle Shanahan has done, because you think about losing Brock Purdy for an extended stretch. You lose, Fred Warner, you lose Bosa, and you're still 10-4 with a chance to finish the season at 13-4. That's a very good coaching job for Shanahan. So that's a fascinating game too. But certainly the 49ers have done what I thought they would do, which is get to 10-4. Now let's see how they go these last 3 weeks.
Mark, great stuff as always, pal. I appreciate it. I know we're a little bit late, but man, thanks for hanging with us all day today, and we'll talk again next week, okay?
Always love it, Bill. Thanks so much. Enjoy the games this weekend.
There you go, Mark Schofield, SB Nation, joining us for a couple of minutes, way over time, but that's okay because it's always just such good stuff. More of the Huddle coming up right after this.
Oh, yeah. This is the Huddle with Bill Michaels on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
You got to hit it, bang it, rock it, put it in the pocket. Hit it, bang it, rock it, put it in the pocket. Hit it, bang it, rock it.
Welcome back. It's Huddle Night. Huddle up. Coming up in a couple of minutes, we are going to take a break. We're going to get back and grab our picks that are sure to go wrong. That's for damn sure. That being said, our guy Mike Clemens, he got the whole thing in Chicago. I was talking about this before, and I haven't heard it. Mike just said he sent something regarding the Bears Stadium deal. By the way, I went back and checked, Grant. 2003 was the renovation for both Lambeau Field and Soldier Field.
Okay, so you were right. I don't know why.
2003. The Packers did it for $295 million total. The Bears started out at $635 million. They estimated to be close to $700 million. So those two stadiums got renovated same time, and the Bears renovation was roughly $380 million more than what the Packers was. The Bears are now ready to move into another state to get the hell out of that building, while the Packers have the Taj Mahal. Just tell me what's wrong with the city of Chicago without telling me. It's that easy. Have you heard the Mike Clemens piece?
Yeah, I suppose I dropped the ball. I could have played it as a bumper coming back from that break. You want me to play it now?
Well, let's do that, because I want to hear what Mike put together for those lowly Bears fans who could lose their beloved Bears to Gary, Indiana.
Gary, Indiana.
What a wonderful name.
Named for Albert Gary of judiciary fame.
You know we're just straight for fun. Straighten us up for everyone. We're not here to start no trouble. We're just here to slow
Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana. Let me say it once again. Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana. That's the town that knew me when. Now, if you'd like to have a logical explanation how I happened on this.
How about that? Just in case you didn't know, the Bears put out a letter this evening that basically said, we can't go to Arlington Heights. It's out of the question. We can't stay in Chicago. And we got to now go to Gary, Indiana. We're you know.
Because the Bears still suck.
What a joke. In other words, they can't get the tax breaks they want, so they're getting the hell out of the state. Did you see the response by Governor Pritzker? It's a startling slap in the face. Shut up. He was probably in his toiletless house in Lake Geneva trying to find a place to take a dump when that letter came out. It's just, oh, God. It's just, you know, at least they got a decent team this year, right? At least they got something, I guess, to cheer about, because otherwise you'd just be pulling your hair out. Just let me go.
This is the Huddle with Bill Michaels on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Gary, Indiana.
What a wonderful name.
Named for Albert Gary of judiciary fame.
You know we're just strutting for fun.
That's awesome.
We're not here to start no trouble. We're just here to do some motion.
Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana. Let me say it once again.
Oh, man. Man, oh, man, oh, man. Yeah, now, let me say this. For as much as we make fun of Chicago for all the problems, there's no way in hell they're going to let the Bears move out of Chicago. There's no way. This is the strategy ploy. This goes back and forth between teams all the time. And so I don't want to get too deep into it, but they'll get this worked out. But I'll tell you what, Warren was supposed to get this worked out a while ago when they started purchasing property in Arlington Heights. This was supposed to be done. And now, it just, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So they're going to explore it. They're going to come up with some feasibility plan. They're going to say, look at what they're giving us. And then you know what's going to happen? Right after that, the city and the state is going to cave and they're going to give them what they want. They're going to come to an agreement, something where they can make even more money. And then they're all going to live happily ever after, at least for the next 50 years. And they'll get that stadium built. So anyway, that's what's going to happen before it's all said and done. No, that's not the Sharks swirling around the Bears, trying to take them out of the state of Chicago. That is the ominous sound of my picks beginning to swirl the toilet. As what did we do last week, Grant? How do we do?
We both hit 7-16.
Okay.
So not terrible.
Not terrible, but a game under 500.
We didn't embarrass ourselves.
Right.
At this point in the season, I'll take that as a success.
Yeah, where we're at, yeah, I can go with that. So
we have a great Thursday night game, two Saturday games, but the second of the two is the Packers, so we'll do that one last. So we'll start with Thursday night football. Maybe the most exciting game of the week. The Rams are up in Seattle. They've been delayed. I don't know if you saw, but their plane's having all sorts of delays. They're going up to Seattle, and the Seahawks at home are favored by 1.5.
I am taking the Seahawks. No Devontae Adams in this game. And Puka is ailing a little bit too. I'm taking the Seahawks defense. They're going to get it. They're going to get it done. Rams, close but no cigar. I'm taking the Seahawks at home with their newly inspired 12th man all over again. And I'll take the Seahawks with that given 1.5.
I'll take Seattle as well. I feel like they're better than they showed the last couple of weeks.
Right.
I say that a lot, and I'm usually wrong, but short week, Stafford without maybe one or both of his weapons, plane delay, feels Seahawkish.
Right.
The first game on Saturday, Philly is at Washington. I thought one of the more surprising results last week was Washington taking care of the Giants, as little as I respect the Giants. Washington at home favored by 6.5.
Washington is favored?
No, Philly. I misspoke. Philly on the road favored by 6.5.
I was like, holy mackerel. I'll take Philly. Philly is at least seemed for the time being to figure some things out last week. Then again, it was against the Raiders. But maybe it's a sign of things to come. Washington's just not that good. Their season's done. They know that they've been eliminated. I'll take the Eagles on the road to get the victory and to cover in that one.
I will as well. I still don't think the Eagles are fixed, but a nice vibe-raising win last week against the Raiders. It's crazy how bad the Raiders are. Holy balls.
Right.
To the noon games on Sunday, we'll circle back to the Packers. Buffalo is in Cleveland. Josh Allen and the Bills are hot. They are favored by 10.5 on the road.
Oh.
Big number.
Yeah.
Then again, I watched the Browns in Chicago, and Shedeur Sanders looked as bad as any quarterback this year.
10.5 is a big number to cover against that defense that can play well. You know what? I'm going to take the Browns. I'll take the Browns to cover. I've got to do something to try to get back into this, but I'll give you the reason why. First of all, the Browns defense very good. Secondly, the Bills, huge win. They're coming off of a huge win over the Patriots in Foxborough. Probably a letdown game, maybe a bit of a trap game. They still win, but the 10.5 number is what I'm kind of leering at. Maybe the Bills beat them, but maybe by 10, not by 10.5, going up 11, 14, whatever. I'll take the Browns to cover. Plus, Shedeur Sanders plays better at home.
Buffalo. I just can't sleep at night knowing that I'm picking Cleveland for the second week in a row. I won't let myself do it. The Chargers are in Dallas to play the Cowboys. The Cowboys 2.5-point favorites at home following that loss to J.J. McCarthy.
Man, Vegas knows something. 2.5-point favorites. I'll take the Chargers. I know going back home means a lot, playing at Jerry World and all that kind of stuff, but the Chargers play on grass too. It's not a far trip for them. I'll take the Chargers at home.
Dallas.
Or the Chargers on the road in Dallas.
I like Dallas. And I was very disappointed with what I saw against them, against the Vikings. The Dallas is better than that. So I think they'll bounce back. And the Chargers, they're gritty. They'll be in every game. I don't know, man. When was the last time you watched them and thought, wow?
No, there's no wow factor to them. I just think maybe
Which is Harbaugh, maybe.
Yeah.
That's kind of how Harbaugh goes. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but I'll take Dallas. Kansas City at Tennessee. The Chiefs, now without Patrick Mahomes, favored by 3.
I'll take the Chiefs on the road to get the win. I just, they got enough. I mean, if they can't beat Tennessee now without Patrick Mahomes, then that team needs to be completely rebuilt.
Gardner Minshew?
Yeah, it's Gardner Minshew time. Long hair hanging out from underneath the helmet. Yeah.
He'll probably be out on Broadway the night before the game.
Right. I still think Gardner Minshew's enough with that team. They need to get Chris Jones some help. They're going to figure it out. Travis Kelce most likely going to retire at the end of the year. They still need a number one wide receiver. They got to get a better offensive line for Patrick Mahomes to come back. But I'll take the Chiefs on the road to be able to get this one.
I guess I will too. It's a gross game. Kansas City. Sure. What the hell? Cincinnati, which both of us picked enthusiastically last week in their matchup against the Ravens. They didn't even score a point. They're 3.5-point favorites in Miami.
Taking the Bengals because people questioned Joe Burrow's heart last week, rightfully so. And I can't imagine he would do that again and go scoreless. Now also they have benched Tua. He's out. So Mike McDaniel with a desperation move for the Dolphins. I'm going to take Cincinnati in this bounce back game. Is T. Higgins? T. Higgins probably back in this one because he wasn't back last week with a concussion. My guess is he'll be back this week.
Return to
practice. Out a couple of weeks. Yeah, return to practice. So I guess he'll be back. So you have both Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. I'll take Cincinnati in a better bounce back game from Joe Burrow. This is a game they should win.
Miami. I think they can run the ball. And if they're not playing in the cold, wait, they're playing with a backup now, though, aren't they?
Yep. Not that makes any difference. Tua was the best glorified backup as well.
Yeah, Cincinnati. I'll take Cincinnati. You have convinced me. The New York Jets at the New Orleans Saints. They just beat the Panthers last week.
Right.
Interesting little spot for the crummy AFC South or NFC South. The Saints at home favored by 4.5.
I'll take the Saints. I think the Jets don't have much of anything. And that's just a cluster. If you're the Jets, you throw a dart at a dartboard and draft anybody at this point. Just do anything you can. They just stink. And so I'll take the Saints. They stink less.
Tyler Shuck's like 6'4", 6'5". He can sling the ball well enough. Olave's kind of a nifty player. Sure. What the hell? I'll take the Saints. Minnesota favored by 3 at the Giants. I have not been less impressed with any team in football this year than I was with the Giants playing that Commanders team last weekend. We both picked them. I'm angry. I'm still angry. And they are now home dogs to J.J. McCarthy.
And did you see Jackson Dart got checked again?
Guy's such a dude.
Right?
He's such a dumbass.
Right? Got
Respectfully.
checked again for another concussion because he took another head hit.
I'm not going to change my play.
Yeah,
I'll
take the Vikings. Vikings climbed close to 500 this season, and who knew that they would come back from where they were?
I mean, I'll pick the Giants. I don't like them. I'll pick them because I still don't think J.J. McCarthy's any good, but who knows? Maybe this Sunday I don't know. I'll take the Giants, though. Tampa Bay at Carolina. Tampa Bay favored by 3. This is a huge game.
Huge. Tampa Bay did not look good last week in the Creamsicles either.
I like those jerseys.
I'm talking about their play on the field.
Oh, no, you'd be correct.
I mean, it's
about
good to see Mike Evans come back.
They were up by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and that was it.
I'm going to go with the Buccaneers. I'll go with the Buccaneers. I still got a little faith, and we'll see if it pays off. Still got a little faith there.
Tampa Bay. I think I do too. It's funny because I think Tampa Bay has the talent, but they haven't looked sharp. I think Carolina's really sharp. I don't know that they have the talent. So unstoppable force meets immovable object, I guess, in the NFC South this week. That's it for the noon games. We can break and then do the rest of the slate.
By the way, are you watching the Old Dominion South Florida game?
I am not as
in the
crazy
Staff
going on.
DNA Cure Bowl. Well, first of all, there's only 20 seconds left.
bowl?
The Staff DNA Cure Bowl. They work on breast cancer. Staff DNA. Old Dominions won the game 24-10. It was basically a boxing match with a football game.
Nice.
It was penalty after penalty after injury after penalty after stomping on guys, knocking guys over, face mask, punching people. Crazy game. Old Dominion just knocked off South Florida. South Florida, by the way, with a 9-4 season. And which South Florida started off pretty good. Remember, it wasn't that long ago. They were claiming themselves the champions because they went 10-0. But what a game. It just ended, but I just didn't know if you were watching in the studio. Okay, let's do this. We'll step away. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We got the final set of picks coming up next.
This is the Huddle with Bill Michaels on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back in. Huddle Wednesday night. We are a step closer to the Packers taking on the Chicago Bears in Chicago. 7:20 start time. Don't forget, Green and Gold postgame show immediately following the Packers. And
the Bears still suck.
there you have it. All right, let's get into the rest of the games upcoming this weekend, as we got more picks to get to that hopefully turn out to be at least close to being correct. So what else do we have?
I hope we get this game on CBS. I don't know how the afternoon window will break out. Maybe we get the Fox game, probably Steelers Lions, but Jacksonville's in Denver The Broncos at home favored by 3. This will be an interesting one.
I'm going with the Broncos, only for the fact that their defense, we just saw them, their defense can be stifling and they can really, do different things. But the Jaguars and Liam Cohen, they have impressed me. And if the Jaguars go in and knock off the Broncos, I call me all in on the Jaguars. Still a little bit skeptical, but I'm going to go with the Broncos. But if the Jaguars should get this game, I'm all in.
I'm skeptical of Trevor Lawrence, not really the rest of the operation.
Right.
I'll take Denver. I'd be surprised if Jacksonville wins. I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be surprised. I'll take Denver. I'm just excited to watch. I'm excited to see how that plays out. Atlanta is in Arizona. Atlanta favored by 3. And they're coming off a mini bye, remember? They played last Thursday.
I'm going with Bijan Robinson. So I'm going to go with the Falcons to get the win. The Cardinals stink. They just stink. And they put all that money into their quarterback, and he was terrible. I said it. There's not many things in my life that I'm right about, Grant, but that was one of them. I never liked him. He was a pompous ass. He never played a complete season, always was banged up, would put up good numbers, give you just a taste, and then fail miserably. I am glad to see the Cardinals going down in flames. I'm going with the Falcons.
I will as well, just because they have more good players. Kyle Pitts is broken out all of a sudden, just in time to get a new contract, by the way.
Yeah, how about
find
that?
that interesting. Yeah. Pittsburgh at Detroit. This should be a fun one.
This is a great one. What's the
Pittsburgh, 7-point road dogs. Detroit -7.
Really? Ooh.
I think Detroit's still good, and Pittsburgh got a nice win, but Tua at home in the cold is like a CPR dummy, man.
Rodgers plays well in the dome at times. However, I'm going to give you something to think about here.
Okay.
The last time Aaron Rodgers faced the Lions was at Lambeau Field. His last pass at Lambeau Field as a Packer was an interception to the Lions. And the Lions said, remember, you just lost to that team again. The Lions don't forget. I'm going to go with the Lions at home.
Yeah, I'm going Detroit too. I think they might beat the brakes off the Steelers.
Yeah.
The Steelers can beat lesser teams, and they have some nice players, but yeah. Las Vegas at Houston. Houston favored by 14.5.
Oh.
There was a time this season where we questioned whether or not the Texans should score 14 points.
I'll take the Texans. I'll take the Texans to cover that. I don't want to, but I will. The Raiders are so bad. Can you imagine right now being Max Crosby, who went all in on saying, I'm a Raider, I'm staying, and then they gave you this? I'm going with the Texans.
I will as well. I think that team's nasty. I think they're one of the scariest teams in the AFC right now. But watch, they'll lose to the Raiders as soon as I see that. Sunday Night Football, this is a gem. New England at Baltimore. The Ravens at home favored by 3. Patriots fans are going to be like, what the hell? How can we be underdogs for the second straight week to a team with a lesser record?
I am going with the Patriots. Going with the Patriots on the road to get it. I'm going to take the Patriots. They're coming off of a loss, hard-fought loss. They had that game, and they just completely peed down their leg in the second half, and they didn't have an answer for Josh Allen, who just became Superman. Right now, Lamar Jackson is not playing like Superman. I'll take the Patriots.
I will as well. I think they're very good. And I do not. Lamar Jackson missed practice today with flu-like issues.
Mm-hmm.
Dude has the immune system of a toddler. I will take the Patriots as well. Monday Night Football, and then we'll do the Packers. San Francisco in Indianapolis play the Colts, and San Francisco on the road favored by 6. Brock Purdy looked good last week.
Yeah. Taking the Colts.
Oh.
Taking the Colts.
What's your reasoning?
Just going with the fun of Phillip Rivers. I think returning to Indianapolis, going into Lucas Oil Field, that place is going to go nuts when he walks out of the tunnel. There's going to be an energy there. He didn't look bad. I mean, he just didn't look bad, and they don't have Bosa. Bosa's not going to be rushing off the edge. Warner's been banged up. I'm going to go Colts at home. Colts have to have this one too. Their backs are against the wall. They have to have it.
I forgot about the Colts earlier today. I asked you to do AFC power rankings, and you didn't mention the Colts, and then you mentioned them kind of after the fact. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. The team that traded 2 firsts for a friggin' corner.
Yeah, and he ended up going down with an ACL injury.
Just a calf strain or leg strain. Okay. It wasn't anything crazy, but I mean, he's a friggin' corner. You don't give up 2 firsts for a corner. I'll go San Francisco. This is the year I have never been this impressed with either Robert Saleh or Shanahan. They've lost everybody, and those coaches are making it work.
Right.
So I will take San Francisco. Just excited to watch, see what Phillip Rivers does. To the Packer game. All right. In Chicago, Saturday night. Was it 7:20 on Fox?
7:20.
Green Bay favored. Oh, has the spread moved? Has it moved that far? Now at DraftKings, and just let me pop this open to make sure. I'm seeing Chicago -1.5, but let me confirm this real quick. Because it was Packers -1.5. It opened at Packers -2.5. Yeah, it's moved to Bears -1.5. So if you like the Packers, you get a point.
Yeah. And I went with an optimistic Wednesday, and I'm going to say no. I'm going to take this one. This one's going to be where the Bears get them, and probably by more than a point. I don't know. Because I still believe it. Believe the Bears.
Still believe the Bears still suck?
I still do, but I can't do it. I got to take the Bears. I hope I'm wrong. Again, I'm going with that whole hope I'm wrong thing. But yeah, I can't do it.
I'm going to take the Packers.
All right,
I listened to Jeff Hafley today. I don't know.
It doesn't sound like the cat that ate the canary, like he's got something up his sleeve.
I just this week can be a rallying point, or they can fold, and I think this team is too good, and they have aspirations too high to just completely fold this week. And it might be, as you said on Monday, maybe it's a good thing they're getting right back on the horse and they're playing a rival on the road this weekend.
Yep.
I'll go Packers.
Dave says Green Bay by 4. Chris says 28-10 Green Bay. I hope you guys are right. I really do. I hope you're right. But I am so far off the scales right now when it comes to wins and losses. That's it. I feel bad doing it, especially when Micah went down, but I don't know. If they'd have won in Denver without Micah and been able to kind of get a drive going when they needed him the most, I don't know. You know what? I'm not going to justify it. I'm going to overthink it. That's it. That's going to do it. Unfortunately for us, it's time for us to get out of here. Another Wednesday night in the books. We'll back at it again, 10 a.m. tomorrow. It's a sad day tomorrow, by the way. This is the last time, unless we have him on as a guest. Tomorrow we've got fantasy football.
Yep.
With the Charge. But this is the last time we will have Paul Charchian with us. This is it. One of the last times we have the Charge because his season comes to an end and he's leaving us. He is going off into retirement. So there you have it. All right, that's going to do it. Time for us to get out of here. Have a great night. We'll talk to you.